So hello, my name is Fatimata. It's okay. Thank you. So I'm working on the space debris modeling, and I'm more interested by the debris which are generated by a collision or an explosion. So here you have the picture of a upper stage explosion. So what we are looking for is to find an optimized method to follow all the debris which will be generated by this explosion. So here are some numbers of the generated debris. So we have the same number that Camilla Colombo showed you a few days ago. So we have 22,000 debris larger than 10 centimeters. And I'm more interested by the smallest debris. And why are we interested by the fragmentation event, which are the hypervelocity collision or explosion? It's because more than 42% of the space debris come from a fragmentation event. So in which consists the space debris analysis? So first, we generate a debris cloud by using a fragmentation model. And then we do the characterization of the debris cloud, where you have several subchapters, such as the environment modeling and the collision probability. So we choose, first of all, we choose to work on the collision between two CubeSats. So they are miniaturized satellites, and as their number is increasing in space, we wanted to know what will happen if two CubeSats collided. So here we use the, the most famous breakup model, which is the NASA Evolve breakup model. So for a catastrophic collision, we use the we use several distribution. We use several functions of distribution, such as the size distribution, the area to mass, the mass, and delta velocity distribution. So the size distribution gives us the number of fragments which characteristic length LC is greater or equal to LC. So and then we do the same for the other parameters. And the most important is the delta velocity distribution, as you will see later. So for the delta velocity distribution, so we have a value for each debris, and in order to calculate the orbital elements of each debris, we have to know the component of the delta velocity. So in this purpose, we use a function in MATLAB, or you can use also in Excel, to have random component or direction of the increment of the velocity. So this picture is just to illustrate, but in fact we do it in all the directions. So for the two CubeSats, we had in total 38,074 debris. So why this number is because in order to respect the conservation of mass, we had to exclude some debris generated by the bucket model. And what you have to know is that we're studying the collision between two CubeSats, a CubeSat 1U, which means that it's that means that it has a 1 kilogram mass, and it's a 10 centimeter cube. And we have also a CubeSat 3U, which means that it's a 30 centimeter cube with a mass equal to 3 kilograms. So in total, the fragments generated, the total mass of all of the fragments should be equal to 4 kilograms. So to fit this condition, we have a range of size of the fragment which goes from 1 millimeter to 3.6 centimeter, and their mass goes from 1.4 microgram to 28 microgram. So what we try to do also is, as we have a lot of debris, we decided to separate them according to their characteristic length LC. So we have in total 6 families. So the first one is for the debris which sizes are under 5 millimeter, which means that, and there are 35,721. The family B, so between 5 millimeter and 1 centimeter, and we have 1,690. And it goes from family F, where you have debris which sizes ranges from 2.6 centimeter to 3.6 centimeter. So the two graphs show you the distribution of the fragments for their number and their mass. So here you have the initial conditions of the collision. So we didn't make a specific choices on the orbital elements we choose. It was just a test case. So what you have to remember is that the velocity, the mean velocity, which is the velocity of collision, is equal to is between 7 and 8 kilometers per second. We have the angle of the collision. And here you have the pictures which show you the collision geometry. And also you have the kinetic energy of the two CubeSats before the collision. Because in order to have a catastrophic collision, we have to fill the condition that the kinetic energy of the smallest object, which is A, divided by the mass of the largest object, which is equal to 3 kilograms, is greater or equal to 40 joule per gram. So here we respect this condition. That's why also we have only small fragments in our cloud. So to make the simulation of the cloud evolution, so we started from the initial state vector of each debris. Then we calculate the orbital elements of each debris, and then we propagate them. So as the first test, we didn't take into account any perturbations. So here you will have the two body problem only. So which consists the integration. So as I said, we have a state vector of each debris, and you can see that in the velocity you have the direction of the velocity for each debris. And then here you have some example of the relation between the orbital elements and the velocity of each debris. And you have also the momentum, which appears in some relations, such as one of the eccentricity. So once we have all the orbital elements of each debris, we propagate them. So for the 6 families, so we have different type of cloud, and this is for a low T, which it was less than 1 second. So in less than 1 second, the family A, which is composed of the smallest fragments, did 1 kilometer, whereas the largest fragments only did 150 millimeter in less than 1 second. So here the scale is only the distance they did in less than 1 second, and the scales are not the same for each family. So as I said, there's no perturbation. So here you have the semi-major axis and the eccentricity for each family again. So what we think is that the shape of the graph we have is due to the perigee and apogee, and also we are trying to see if it's also due to the direction of the velocity. And as you can see also is that the eccentricity of all of the debris are close to the eccentricity of the CubeSat A, which was the smallest one. So here you have also the semi-major axis, but this time is with the inclination. for all the debris this time, they all get all of the debris inclinations are higher than the two CubeSats which collided. And even we have the same kind of shapes, not really exactly the same, but we are also trying to see if it's due to the perigee apogee or even the direction of the velocity increment. So then you have here the coefficients of the nodes. So the right ascension, excuse me, of the ascending node according to the inclination here and to the semi-major axis here. And here you have the cloud debris right after the collision. So it's the eccentricity and the inclination. So even for this graph, we are also looking on why we have also that kind of shapes for the debris. So here you have the you have all of the cloud debris. So then you have also the period of the 6 families, so in the same graph. And there's only a delay of 50 seconds between the family A for the smallest debris and the family S for the largest debris. So which means that they are not so far in the space, and it's also due maybe to the fact that the mass of the debris are really small. So here we use the master software, which is the European Space Agency software, which allows to study the spatial density and the flow of debris cloud. So here you can see that we didn't choose a really good, how can I say, semi-major axis as the initial conditions, as we have a spatial density altitude which is close to 100 kilometers, and we must take into account the drag atmospheric in that case. And also you can see that most of the spatial, the higher spatial density is nearly the point of collision. So putting the 38,074 debris in the same graph was not really efficient. So we put only some trajectories of one debris for each family. And what we saw is that the family A has a particle elliptic trajectory, whereas the other families has quite the same trajectories. And just here you have just an example. So it's the evolution of the distance of the same debris according to the x-axis, and you have a decay of 2,000 kilometers. And what we see also is that the family A has in fact quite the same trajectory as the CubeSat 1U. So we suppose that the smallest fragments are come from the smallest CubeSat 1U. So as we had some troubles to study the evolution of the debris cloud, we decided to look for a method to optimize this study. So we decided to use the relative motion equations, and more particularly the relative motion in the case of the formation flying. So we use the method called the differential orbital elements that you can find in the formation flying articles. So from the inertial frame IJK, we go to the orbital local frame or RTN, and then we can propagate the orbital elements And what we are going to do is to take the, in the case of an explosion, we take the parent body, and we are going to see if there's an explosion, how he will react. So, like we'll have the phantom of the parent body, and then, for example, one debris that will show us how the debris cloud will evolve according to the parent body position. So as a conclusion, so I'd say that I thought that we won't have any collision between two CubeSats. As you know, we cannot really observe the small fragments from telescope or radar. So here it was just a test case. So now what we are doing is we are implementing in a program all of the perturbations, such as the effect of the Earth flattering or the effect of the sun. But we are also going to test to make the same calculation for different orbital parameters of the two CubeSats, and so different dynamical configurations. In parallel, we're also working on deformation flying for the debris cloud evolution. So if you have any questions, please welcome.